Mabuhay.
Identifying test objectives. An objective test, if it is to be comprehensive, must cover the various levels of Bloom's taxonomy. Each objective consists of a statement of what is to be achieved, preferably by students. Example: we want to construct a test on the topic algebra for grade 7. The following are the typical objectives. So first, in cognitive level of Bloom's taxonomy, knowledge or remembering. The student must be able to describe rational algebraic comprehension or understanding. The student must be able to differentiate between algebraic expression and equation. Application or applying. The student must be able to solve problems involving algebraic analysis or analyzing. The student must be able to clarify algebraic expressions which are polynomials according to degree and number of items. Evaluation or evaluating. The student must be able to evaluate algebraic expression for given values of a variable. Synthesis or creating. The student must be able to compose English sentence to mathematical sentence and vice versa. Deciding on the type of objective test. The test objectives guide the kind of objective test that will be designed and constructed by the teacher. For example, the first four levels, we may want to construct a multiple choice type of test, while for application and judgment, we may optional to give an essay. Preparing a table of specification or TUS. A TUS is a test map that guides the teacher in constructing a test. It ensures that there is a balance between items that test lower order thinking skills or LATs and those which test higher order thinking or HATs in the test. Example of TUS. As you can see in the table, it indicated that the level of Bloom's taxonomy, which is the knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, evaluation, and synthesis. And also, it in the table indicated the objectives, number of items, number, and person. Constructing the items. The actual construction of the items allows the TUS. As the general rule, it is advised that the actual number of items, for instance, if there are 5 knowledge level items to be included in the final test form, then at least 10 knowledge level items should be included in the draft. Item analysis and tryout. The test drafts is tried out to a group of pupils or students. The purpose of this tryout is to determine the first item characteristic through item analysis and characteristic of the test itself, validity, reliability, and practicality. Binomial choice or alternate response tests are tests that have only two options, such as true or false, right or wrong, yes or no, good or better, check or cross out, and so on. A student who knows nothing at the content of examination would have 50% chance of getting the correct answer. By guessing, it is the best that a teacher recognizes who knows and thus who are just guessing. A modified true or false test can upset the effect of guessing by requiring a student to prove that their answers are correct by modifying a part of sentence which makes it incorrect. So here we are the types of paper and pencil tests. In constructing a true or false test, there are rules in constructing a true or false test. So first, do not give a hint in the body of the question. Second, avoid using words always, never, often, and other words that tend to be either always true or always false. Avoid long sentence as this tends to be true. Keep sentence short. Fourth, avoid tricks statement with some minor misleading words or spelling anomaly, mislead phrases, etc. Fifth, avoid quoting verbatim from references material or textbooks. Sixth, avoid specific determinees or give away qualifiers. 7. With true or false questions, avoid grossly disproportionate numbers of either true or false statement or even patterns. Example of true or false test. In writing and enumerating items. An enumeration items is one wherein the student has to list down parts or elements components of a given components or topics. Constructing an enumeration. First, exact number of expected answers have to be specified. Second, a space for the writing answer had to be provided and should be at the same length. Example of enumeration. Constructing a multiple choice test.
First, a generalization of true-false test The multiple choice type of the test offers the student with more than two options per item to choose from. Each item in a multiple choice test consists of two parts, the STEM and the options. In the set of options, there is a correct or best option, while the others are considered distractors. The distractors are chosen in such a way that they are attractive to those who do not know the answer or those who are guessing but at the same time have no appeal to choose who knows the answers. Guidelines in constructing a multiple choice items. First, do not use unfamiliar words, terms, and phrases. Second, do not use modifiers that are vague and whose meaning can differ from one person to the next, such as much, often, usually, etc. Avoid complex or awkward words or arguments. Also avoid use of negative in the stem, as this may add unnecessary comprehension difficulties. Do not use negative or double negative, as such statement tends to be confusing. It is best to use simpler sentences rather than sentences that you require expertise in grammatical construction. Fifth, each item should be as short as possible, otherwise you risk testing more for reading and comprehension skills. 6. Distractors should be equally plausible and attractive. 7. All multiple choice options should be grammatically consistent with the STEM. 8. The length, explicitness, or degree of technicality of the alternative should not be the determinants of the correctness of the answer. 9. Avoid STEM that reveal the answer to other item. 10. Avoid alternatives that are synonyms with others or those that include or overlap others. Avoid presenting sequenced item in the same order as in the text. Avoid use of assumed qualifiers that many examiners may not be aware of. Avoid use of unnecessary words or phrases which are not relevant to the problems. Avoid use of the non-relevant sources of difficult, such as requiring a complex calculator when only knowledge of a principle is being tested. 15. Pack the question in the step. Avoid question which has no question. Use the none of the above option only when the keyed answer is totally correct. Note, the use of all the above may allow credit for partial knowledge. Students assume that you are allowed only one correct choice. Better still use none of the above and all of the above sparingly, but best not to use them at all. Having compound response choices may purposely increase difficulty of an item. Example of multiple choice items. Constructing a matching type of test. Matching type test. The matching type test item may be considered modified multiple choice item where the choices progressively reduce as one successfully match in the item of the left with the items on the right. Guideline in constructing a matching type of test. First, match homogeneous, not heterogeneous item. The stem must be in the first column while the option, usually short, must be in the second column. Third, the option must be more in number than stem to prevent the student from arriving at the answer by mere process of elimination. To help the examiner find the answer easier, arrange the option alphabetically or chronologically. 5. Like any other test, the direction of the test must be given. The examiners must know exactly what to do. Example of matching type of test. Constructing a supply type or constructed response type. Another useful device for testing lower ordering thinking skill is the supply of tests. Like the multiple choice test, the items in this kind of test consist of a stem and blank where the student would write the correct answer. Supply type tests depend heavily on the way the stem are constructed. These tests allow for one and only one answer and hence often test in the student's knowledge. Guidelines in the formulation of completion type of test. First, avoid over-mutilated sentences. Second, avoid open-ended item. Third, the blank should be at the end or near the end of sentence. Fourth, ask question on more significant item, not on trivial matter. Fifth, the length of the blanks must not suggest the answer. Example of completion type of test. Essay. Classified as non-objective tests allow for this assessment of higher order thinking skills. Such tests require students to recognize their thoughts on the subject matter in coherent sentences in order to inform an audience. In essay test, students are required to write one more paragraph on specific topic. Example of essay type of test.
So this is the end of our discussion, and I hope that you have learned something from this presentation. Thank you and mabuhay!